All right. So for those of you who have this, who needs a demo for this? Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo. For those of you who are waiting, just wait a second. I'll just do a really quick demo. All right, so you want to get some ink, but make sure you dilute it with water. You don't want to use pure ink because the ink is too thick and it will take forever. So what you want to do is put a splatter here, turn it, a little bit here, turn it, a little bit here, turn it, a little bit here, and that's it. Okay, now if it's like a little bit uneven, you can put some here, and then that's it, you're done. Okay, the next part is you're gonna make, I guess I can say somebody made some crowns. They look like crowns to me. So like the size of your thumb, like the length of your thumb, put some ink there. And that's it. Looks like a crown. Turn it the length of your thumb because you need a little some ink for this. Okay, and then that's it. You're done. Okay, let's make that one for those of you who haven't. For those of you who have, watch the next demo. All right, so we're going to do dry brush, not dry brush technique, but page 9. Okay, you're going to create 5 textures with brush. For page 3, we created 5 different textures with stick, right? We're creating 5 different textures with brush this time. If it's not working, it's because you're not close enough. Okay, and then you need to have a sharper air flow. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So the first one is splatter. So you're going to take your brush, and you're just going to splash ink. Okay. Now, if you happen to have a shape that you can cut out, I should have had some of these ready for you guys. But anyway, what you do, oh, it's okay if you accidentally did that like me. Okay. And then you take the shape off, and then you see a triangle. Okay. But anyway, you're doing splatters. Now, make sure that you're not pointing at your neighbor or their work. You want to make sure you're pointing straight down to your paper. So this is the first one. If you can try to fit all this on one paper, that'd be great. If you can, I think mine's going to end up being a 2-pager. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. Turn off the notification before your finger gets dirty. I heard somebody's phone. The splatter is the first one. So Michelle, I want you to work on this with us, okay? And then you can watch the video and then catch up during lunch, okay? So start with the splatter. Yeah, that's fine. And then what you do is you're gonna get really close, like that close. Okay? You're like far away. You're going. No, it's not. Okay? And you're not doing it sharp enough. You need to get really. You see how I did this? I watched you from over there. Even that. You're trying to use pure ink right now. It's not gonna work with pure ink. Yes. Better? Oh, Angel is tapping it. Here, you can do this. Here. All right. You done? Okay. The next one is, since your finger's dirty anyway, okay, go straight to the darkest ink. And then I'm going to see what happens if you create some patterns with your fingerprint. Okay? And what happens when you go from dark to light? So like 1, 2, 3, and then you see how it gets lighter gradually. Okay? Another thing you can do is use the tip of your finger and you can get different patterns. You can also drag these lines and create different patterns. So I want you to see if you can create at least a couple of different patterns. I'm going to see if I can try to make a comet. Or, I don't know, it looks like fire now, I don't know. But anyway, at least two different patterns. Yes, question?
For this splatter one, are we only covering the top half of it with ink or the splatter?
Top half? I mean, if you just a little section.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of it was the paint versus stuff, so we don't have too much ink on it.
I mean, if you accidentally go in other areas, that's okay, as long as you're getting the practice. Yeah, try dragging it. Try the ones where you get like actual fingerprints. Turn your paper. See what kind of patterns you can make. Sure, you can try writing your name. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna copy you, Varius. So he was twisting it. Let's see what patterns we can make. Oh, cool. I like the experimentation. So these are fingerprints that are like twisting. That's a good one. It's okay if you have like multiple pages. Just at the end, you're going to be able to number all your pages. If you accidentally didn't put all your pages together, what you can do is put a star next to, let's say you got a 0, but it was like loose. Put a star next to that particular thing that you want me to re-look at over the weekend, and then we'll go from there. Okay? But you're going to number all your pages anyway. So, all right. So that's the fingerprint. Now the dry brush technique. Am I going too fast?
No.
No? Okay. Dry brush technique. All right. Now, dry brush technique means this will not work if you have a lot of ink or water on your brush. So as soon as you get some ink on your brush, you need to make sure you swipe it a lot of times. And then this is the first step. Step 1, swipe a lot. Second step, on your rag, just a couple of times, maybe 4 times, just go over it. And then third is you got to fan your brush out. You got to kind of pinch it like this so it fans out. And I'm going to show you some techniques different patterns you can make. So this is a pattern. This is a pattern. Okay. I can make a weaving. Here we go. And then I'm losing my, my brushes are coming back together, so I'm just going to fan it out again. So I'm making a weaving pattern. Oh, lost track of my patterns. What other things can we do with this? Let's come up with these patterns. What did I do with the other ones? Okay, so dry brush technique. I need at least a couple of patterns for this one. Try it out. How about this? What does that look like? Somebody made like jaguar, like fur pattern with this way back in the day. I don't know how he did it. These look like they could look like claw shapes. Need some ink. Let's do the dry brush technique, Caleb. Okay. So again, get pure ink, swipe it multiple times on the rag. Just drag it a couple of times, and then make sure you fan out the brush. Come up with some cooler designs than mine, so I can show it off here. Are you? Is this for the dry brush?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting pure ink.
Yes.
Swipe it a lot on a rag. Just wipe it down just a little bit, and then fan out the brush, and then you should be able to get these textures. Okay, raise your hand if this is not working out for you. Okay, you got too much ink on your or water on your brush. Is it working? Okay, let's see. Did you try it though? Oh, you should try it first. You don't know if you tried it. Yeah, you gotta try it first. Fan it out more. Yeah. Is this supposed to be dry brush? Oh, so. You're supposed to here. There's supposed to be more spaces. Okay. So, oh, you got an example right in front of you. All you need to do is just look up. Okay, so get ink. Get ink. Okay, swipe it multiple times. And then just wipe it up just a little bit. Good. And then, oh, this is a little too dry. So look, see how my hand is leaving it really dry? If you have one, no, because you're just too but you see how you do this, it just goes back, right? So if it's too dry, you've got too much to do with it. Bring that out, see how it stays. And then as you're working on this little bit, you want to come back together again. And those are some of the patterns. Anybody making cool patterns? They want to show off? I think I have a picture of somebody. Somebody made a bird.
Well, it's still gonna be the same.
No, that's fine. So right now you're learning multiple techniques and strategies on how to incorporate these into the patterns, the surreal hair patterns you're going to create. Now for those of you who understand what that means, good. For those of you who don't, surreal hair means you're just pretty much, you can think of it like this, like our columns are like super long and straight, right? Like, and so let's see, like cartoons like Marge Simpson has like a really long, like tall hair, right? You're just gonna be creating all kinds of designs that are just gonna go straight up or straight down, and these are all the techniques I'm showing you that you can use to create your patterns and shapes and designs, okay? So don't forget about everything that you're learning right now, okay? So after you have done your dry brush technique, the next one is, okay, wet on wet. And this one's really fun. All right, you gotta watch for this one. So for those of you, well, I'll do another demo. So how many of you, raise your hand if you're ready to watch this demo? Okay, so watch the demo. Okay. So I'm going to just do, so I want you guys to see if you can try multiple patterns, because this is gonna be really cool that you might wanna use. I'm just gonna do a circle. Oh, my water is dirty from last period, so I'm going to get another water. If you want more space, no one sits here, right? I don't think anybody sits here. All right, so you're gonna need semi-clean water. My water was really dirty because I didn't clean it from last period. Okay, so I just need pure water and pure ink. All right, are you watching? Okay, so I'm just gonna do a circle. Gonna get pure ink. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you put too much, what do you think is going to happen to the shape? Too much ink. Yeah, it was just going to turn into a blob of ink, right? So now I'm going to do another shape. What did I do? Oh, thick to thin lines. So here's my thick to thin lines. And just kind of get a feel for like, okay, is that enough? Okay, so that's okay. I'm going to do a little swish. Yeah, reptile patterns, right. I'm going to do a little swish, little curve. Oh, I changed that to 1 hour and it keeps going dark. Oh, okay, this is making sure. So do you see how it stays inside the shape that you want it to be? What did I do the last class? Oh, now I'm going to make a heart shape that's totally solid inside. Now, when you're working on this, it doesn't work. It means that you don't have enough water. You didn't use enough water. Okay. I'm going to make a heart shape with a hole in it. And make sure that your, some of these are, the lines are, water lines are thick enough. You can try your name. I like this shape, so I think I might continue. I might actually make another one. It looks like a question mark. Yeah, you're right. If we were to connect it to this. Let's see what happens if I add water on top of this. Oh, yeah, I'm dragging, because the ink is not, let's see. I know some of you guys try to make this like swirly thing that I'm doing. Endless possibilities. And then on top of this, if you guys have time, see if you can add dry brush technique so I can make my heart look hairy. Oh, I can make this little creature look like a caterpillar with all those hairy lines. I'm sure some of you guys are going to come up with some really It doesn't look like you have enough water out there, right? This isn't spreading. Raise your hand if you're not working out. paper. So you're right, right? Where's the train? Train, where's the train? You gotta go to the yes. Yeah, if you do this, or if you don't get you don't have enough water and just do this, it's not gonna split. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have enough water. That's all. And try to stand it. And then when it starts moving shorter, again. Yeah, you have too much ink in this. Both of you. The train? Too much of that, maybe I'm too much. But just put a little less, okay? Is that yours? Yeah, you need to put some. That's it. First would be good if you put less. Why doesn't everybody try to do something that's just like maybe 3 dots and see what happens? Some of you guys are doing way too much. It doesn't. Did you try that one? Go for it. Let's try it. Oh, good. Try to do one with less English. Hold on a second. All right, what's the question?
You say you should say like stop.
on to the next one for some of you guys?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to wait until this is done. Okay. Oh, here, let me show you the difference between, so look, this is the one I did last period, and this is the one I did this period. So I think definitely using pure, I thought mine was pure ink, but I guess it wasn't. So if you use pure ink, sometimes you just get better results, more crackle. They're still good, they're both still good. All right. What's the next one? Oh, salt. Okay. Hi. All right, so this next one, let's see, it's been about a year, I forget. So we're going to be putting salt on the ink, okay? What do you think the salt is going to do to the ink? It's going to push it around. It's also going to soak up the ink as well, so you're going to end up with like white spots, okay? Yes. Just what?
I'm not going to be in here. I'm upstairs in the office.
Uh-huh.
Just not to turn this in.
Okay, put your names on all of them and then put it in that box over there where all the t-shirts are.
This pencil too.
Yeah, or you can use this pencil and then go towards the back. Okay. All right, so it's gonna take me a little bit to experiment here. So I don't know if you have too much ink. Let's see what's gonna happen. If you have pure ink, let's see. I remember it being, let's make another pile with less ink. This is my darkest value. Let's see what happens with a medium value. Okay. All right. So do you see how this automatically picked it up? So I think what's happening is that the ink is a little too thick for the salt to pick up right away. So what you want to do is you want to use like a medium value. So I just added like about 5-6 drops of water. And then that should be able to, you should be able to create interesting textures. Unfortunately, you don't see the results right away. You'll see it the next class period. So see if you can create some kind of thick to thin.
You said something like white right there.
What's that?
You said something like white right there.
Yeah, where the t-shirts are? Yeah, it's the same.
So what is that?
Yeah. So just do that, and then we're going to let that dry, and then next class period you'll be able to dust it off, and you're going to have all these like white specks on it. I have a soap. So if you make it too light, then what's going to happen is that the white is going to just blend in with the light color. If you make it too dark, not sure. See if you can try to make it medium to dark value. I'm actually going to try a pure ink and let's see what happens. I'm going to see what happens to it. Wow. Does anybody have drama this year? Do you know what they're doing? Oh, I have some dried. Okay. So here, this is what it's going to look like. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So this looks like there's salt on there, but there isn't. Okay, this is what's going to happen if the ink is too dark. You see this? You don't really see it. But the one where it's a medium value, see, there's no salt here. So this is what the texture looks like. Here's another example. Now, this is what happens if you don't have enough water, because then the salt is not going to pick up anything if you don't have enough moisture for it to pick up. Bless you. So there's a medium value. So it creates these like tiny little specks. Oh. Is this too close? Maybe that's too close, so I'm just going to... So just make sure that you have enough enough water ink, and then make sure you have enough salt on there, because you're going to brush that off on Tuesday. Did I forget the blotting? Oh, blotting is on this page. Okay. All right. Who's done with the salt? One person. All right, now this page is actually going to be page 12, but we are doing it right now so that it dries in time. So just make sure that eventually you put page 12 on there. So this is blotting. So fold your paper into 4 sections. So you're going to eventually fold it like this, so just kind of have an idea. Oh, actually you can fold it right now. So fold it. All right. So let's see what we can do here. Maybe, what would happen if you do 1, 2, and just make a shape or a blob or whatever. And then what you're going to do is going to fold it, and let's see what happens to it. Open it, and then you'll get a shape. There's a name to this, scientific name study. This psychologists used to use. Like they open it and go, what do you see? And if you see evil or bad things, I guess they think that that's what you are thinking. But there's no proven data that it actually works. All right, another one. So I did, for this one, I did like 3 drops. I did 1, 2, 3, and then 1 long drop. Let's see if I can do, let's see what would happen if I did this. 2 long lines sideways. Okay, and let's see what happens to that. And I like to kind of move things around like this. Oh, I forgot to tell you, what I did with this one is I added water to it. That's what I forgot. And if you don't like what you see here, just do something else here. I'm going to put a drop here. Add water. Oh, okay, that's good. Accidents are good. And then I'm going to just see what happens. I'm going to just drag it down. Oh, it's the same. Okay. And it's okay if it bleeds like out. That's fine too. This is kind of cool. This I like this one. The second one that I did. Let's make a third one. Anybody made a really cool shape and want to share their technique? I only want to hear the yeses. This is so easy. All right. I know some of you guys, let's make a heart shape. Oh. Here, I'll make a 2 heart shape. Oh, I'm adding extra water. Oh, I made a heart shape. Sure. All right, now this one is just going to be a very like random, just blob. Let's see, with no plans, just a blob. Let's see what a blob looks like. Now, some of you guys thinking like, how am I going to use this with my surreal hair design? I'm going to show you. Because you're not going to really fold your paper, even though it's kind of folded. But you can't like fold the corners. I would prefer that you don't. Let's just put a blob there. Blob, okay? Okay. So let's say you want to create some of these designs. Now, the more you do this, the more you'll be able to kind of predict what your shapes are going to look like. So if you put 3 drops, it'll look like this. If you, after you put your 3 drops and you push your ink this way, it's going to look a certain way. If you push it this way, it's going to look a certain way. If you put a line or too much water, so you can kind of start predicting. So let's say this is like one of your project papers. Okay, and this is a column, right, that you're working with. So what you could do is put your and I'm going to put some water. So what you guys can do is just get scrap paper, put it down, and then depending on the direction you want to push it, I think I'm going to have it go this way. Okay. And then I kind of can see what it looks like, so I think I'm going to put another one here. And then I want this to go up, okay? And then maybe this is a pattern that you want to work with. I can see this being part of it here, somebody's face right here. There's some really cool things going on here. So you can use this on your own project too. And then on top of this, look at this. I can use my dry brush technique, and I can add lines. So I'm adding on to this. But anyway, there's just infinite number of things you can do. And then after this is dry, I can just put clear water on it and then do dabs on top of it of ink and then see what that does. Let me try that. Let's try it here. Like what happens? So I'm kind of like trying to outline the shape. So anyway, now it's starting to look like a wing. To me it does. Anyway, so there's a lot of things you can do with this over and over again. I put too much ink on there. Okay. All right, that's the blotting. Let's move on to the next one. While I pass out the black paper, why don't you start putting page numbers on your papers right now? While I pass out the black paper. Let's put the next page number. Try to put it on the bottom right. You can do it with ink if you want.
What when we do the water and then the ink, which one is that?
Are you looking at the pages? Maybe in the picture? That's what bring the
Oh. Okay.
Charles, put the page numbers on there. And you actually get points for doing that, right? It says all pages are appropriately numbered. You actually get points.
Oh, do the blue.
black paper at this middle table. So we're going to do white pencil chalk drawing on black paper. So get the black paper over here. Actually, guys, can you do me a favor? Can you pass it out? Alright, so you're going to receive a white pencil like this. Has some ink on it. Why is this so dark? Okay. So you're going to do a couple of things. Pick the side that doesn't have, some of you guys might have like drawing on this, so just pick a side. You can wash your hands later. Is everybody watching? Okay. All right. So you're going to use the side of the pencil, and you're just going to just kind of go over it over and over, and see if you can lessen the pressure as you go to the top. So you can make some kind of a gradual value change. And see if you can do that a couple of times. So literally I'm holding it at the end right now. I really need to get this checked out. Some of you guys might want to hold the pencil at the end like this, where you're just kind of, you know, like barely making it. For those of you who are heavy-handed, you might have to do this and just go over it over and over, and just don't go over the top. Just leave the top alone. Oh, I have a container per table, so you can actually just give a container to a table. Got three there? Okay, so let's try that. For those of you where you're just like, oh, I can do that, here, just try. So we're going to do this twice, and then this. See if you can create some patterns. So they're all it is, and they're just short lines. Go for it. And then raise your hand if you need me to do demos. I mean, this, all it is just, it's all going in one direction, so it makes like shapes.
You can make one look like the northern lights, right?
What? What lines?
Northern lights.
Northern lights? Yeah, you can try to make, yeah. A lot of people think of cosmic, the sky, the stars with this. So there's white pencils at your table. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the sound I don't want to hear. It means that you're putting way too much pressure on there. So like, let me see if I can try to recreate that. I hate that sound. The chalk. I can't even create that sound because I just don't like it at all. Try not to make that squeaky sound. It means that you're putting way too much pressure. So if you're heavy-handed, let's see, look. Your shading looks like this, and there's no changes. It's putting too much pressure on there. Who's making that sound? The squeaky sound. Look, you're just taking the end of the pencil, no pressure. Everything is just dangling. Look, and you're just shading. Okay, I did one bar. Leave it alone. Do not shade the top anymore. I'm just going to shade the bottom. Go up. Leave it alone. Okay, don't do the shading anymore. I do, bless you, and then I do the middle. This should be good. So let me see if I can try to give you like a estimate. Okay, so the first round, okay, if it's not working out, look up. First round, I'm just doing this, okay? So the first round, I'm going from here to here. The second round, I'm just doing 3/4 now. The same amount of pressure, but I'm just going to here. So the second round will be from here to here. The third round, I'm going from here to the middle now. And then fourth round, I'm just doing the quarter, the bottom. So you should be able to create your value. Now you can do more than 4 if you want to, but that's how pretty much how I do mine. So this is the first, second, third, fourth try. So I have 2 good ones with that, and you're using the side of the pencil. I'm going to see if I can try to change the value or the okay, I think this should be better now. Yep. Do you want me to do another demo on this? You get it? First try all the way here, second try, third try, fourth try. You should make yours bigger than that. That might be a little too hard to see. Make yours wide. That's why I gave you this whole space. For those of you who are done, or raise your hand if you're done. Okay? What you want to do is you're going to do this kind of thick to thin. So what I'm doing is I'm not doing this where I'm just, you can do this if you want to, just using this side. But see if you can have it kind of go to a point. So that's not really going to a point. What you would do is you do this and then just make it thick as you go, just towards the bottom. That's one. That's 2. So you just need a couple of those. Use the side. The value doesn't matter. I mean, if you can make it dark to light, that's great, but if you can't, it's okay. Okay. So this is the next one. Thick to thin lines. You're using the side of the pencil. Raise your hand if you need another demo. Okay. So what you're doing is essentially you're going from here, thick to thin. So you just kind of let it just let it fade. I'm just making mine just extra thick, but you don't have to. You can. This is fine if you can do this. It's okay, get another one. Because it's charcoal, it's soft. Alright, now for those of you who are done with the 2 thick to thin lines, what you're going to do is now see if you can, I got lots of demos here, but see if you can try to create, I'm just going to leave this here for you to look at. But all you're doing is lots of short lines like this. So I'm just doing, it's kind of like a really, really short thick to thin line. And just going to, less pressure as it goes. And try to make these patterns, any of these patterns here, or make up your own. You can also do your name too. Let me see if I can do, I'll do KCP. So K. That's a K. Now I'll do a C. Well, here's a C right here. So all you're doing is just curving. I'm running out of space here. So first you want to do the outline. You can do a P, or you can just do random, just keep doing this and see where it goes. That's another thing you can do. That's the whole point of the abstract surreal hair design, is that you can make it as abstract as you want. It doesn't have to look like anything. And if it turns into a creature, great. If it doesn't, it's fine too. See where it goes. This kind of makes me think of, what are those flowers where the seeds, if you blow on it, the seeds go away? Like they fly away?
Sunflower.
Sunflower.
Not sunflower. Dandelion.
Are they dandelion? Sunflowers. Yeah, dandelion. So these kind of make me think of dandelion kind of shapes. Maybe I'll make a little field of I mean, you can literally make anything with this, with these patterns. All right. If you're not done with this, it's okay. I won't grade this page because we're going to finish with this. We're going to start with this page next time. So why don't you let's slowly put all of our materials back. Make sure that everything is in chronological order.